Today, we're going to touch everything credit, business structure, business funding, and we're going to talk about how my guy can get you 100K plus in funding. I want to start here, right? How did you get into this whole kind of like credit business structure type thing? What was your kind of like welcome to credit moment?
Good question. I think I started the same journey that everybody did, man. I messed up my credit and then I had to dig myself out, right? You know what I mean? When I very first started, I actually used, what was it? Lexington Law? Yeah, Lexington Law. I started with them. I want to say we were maybe 4, 5, 6 months in, just no results. I just kind of went to YouTube University, dude. You know what I mean? And I dived in. It was incredibly dry. I'll say that. At that point, when I was getting my feet wet in the game, there was nothing like there is now on YouTube or on the internet of credit repair, credit restoration, funding. You know what I mean? There's not that pizzazz that there is now. And I just locked in. I fell in love with it because it actually was going to make a difference in my life. And then I had so many people in my family, obviously, that I knew it could help. So I became a certified credit consultant, learned the game inside and out, restructured my whole credit profile, did the exact same thing, implemented the exact same strategies for friends and family. I just met individuals that had businesses that actually didn't know that there was an opportunity for them to have access to capital instead of them always, working the business, whatever money comes from it, they use to fund the next business, right? So I met different trades like electricians, plumbers, maid services, you know what I mean? And I was just talking to them and I was like, yo, do you guys know that, banks give away the money out here? They give away the bag. And these people already structured and had revenue, you know what I mean? So for them to not have funding to me was just like, oh, there's a missing piece here. And I kind of just started. I was just like, hey, I can help you with this and this and this because I already did it for myself. And I kept that relationship going with the banks and the institutions. So I just started off little. I started helping just mom and pop shops and stores around town. And it kind of just scaled, bro. You know what I mean? So now what we do is most people find us online. They take the intake form at the beginning. They fall into either this bucket or that bucket where they need credit restoration or they're ready to go for funding. And then my team takes it from there. You know what I mean? So you come with your problem, my team comes with the solution, bro. You need funding, we got you. You need access to capital, we got you. You need a personal loan, we got you. Or you're first here in the credit restoration stage, and then you get to graduate to over here where it's fun anyways. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's how I started. But I want to jump back to your second question. It was, what was my welcome to credit moment? This one might sound funny, but my welcome to credit moment was honestly kind of bad. I'm gonna be real. My welcome to credit moment was, so I was young, maybe 19 years old. Right when the FRS came out, if anybody remembers when the Toyota FRS came out, I got a Toyota Scion FRS. And my grandma was super duper proud of me. She was just like, I'm so proud of you. Just so you know, whenever you get your car payment, you got to make a car payment. And then 15 days later, you make another car payment. And I was just like, yo, grandma, like, that's a stretch. You know what I mean? I'm only working part-time. But she was just like, the way that this works is the double payment knocks away your interest. So when your next bill comes in, it's not even high. It's actually what it's supposed to be. So I was just like, okay, grandma, like I trust you. You know what I mean? Like that's wise. I've never heard of this before in my life. So I did that. Boom, paid off my FRS in like 2.5, 3 years, bro. It was incredible, right? And then I remember, so I was walking into Costco, and at Costco, you have to have a membership to get into Costco, right? I didn't have a membership. So I walk into Costco, and they were like, oh, you got to go over there. You got to go get a membership. I'm like, okay, whatever, no big deal. Like, I'm here for the chicken bakes. Like, it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? So I go over there, and the lady was just like, oh, hey, do you want to apply for a Costco card? Like, it's with American Express. It's this Visa Anywhere card. Do you want to apply? And I never had a credit card. And I'm just like, what? All right, cool. Let me try it. Boom, boom, boom. Filled out the application. And the girl was surprised. She was like, yo, you just got approved for 18.5. Like, I've never seen that. And I was like, 18,000? Like, I didn't know credit, but the way my grandma structured me to pay off my car boosted up my credit profile. So when I applied for this first credit, I was out the gate. I find out I got 18 bands. You know what I mean? I went through Costco, all the chicken bakes, woo, 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 easy money. Yeah. I remember calling up the homies the next day. I'm like, yo, come with me. We going to the store. Everybody's getting something on me. Don't even trip. You know what I mean? Cool. Then I find this tattoo artist that's like, yo, you could pay me on a credit card. I said, we're locked in. Like, you're my guy. You're telling me I get all these tattoos and pay later? Yeah. We in here. So yeah, I ran up my card and then it was good for a while. I'm making my payment. You know what I mean? And then, bro, I got a parking ticket and that was just devastating. Like, so I got my parking ticket and my credit card bill came at the same time. Plus I had rent due. Plus I had my cell phone. You know what I mean? And it was just like, what am I going to do? I remember I called my pops and I was like, yo, can I meet you for lunch? Like, I just want to ask you something. And I told him the situation and he was like, this is what he told me, bro. He was like, if you're going to try and tell me that you're going to have to make a decision to pay the parking ticket or you're going to pay that credit card, pay your parking ticket. Don't let them take your car. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, don't pay my credit card? And he was like, nah, let that go. I was like, you could let it go? I've never been told this information before. So now that was just, even worse information, but I got the same info. Like, I got great advice from my grandma and now I get this advice from my dad. So I'm thinking it's great advice too. Like, she steered me right. So now I have this car and I'm just like, man, that car could go. Had no idea what that would do to me. You know what I mean? So obviously, bro, that was a really long story and I've never ever shared this before. But yeah, that advice from my pops tanked my credit profile. But what that did was it led me to like, oh, I went to Walmart, got a Walmart card, didn't pay it. You know what I mean? I went to Ross, got a card, didn't pay it. Went to Daniel's Jewelers, got chains, didn't pay it because my dad told me this is the breakdown. You know what I mean? And nothing seemed to happen because you don't see that your credit profile is going down and down. You just see email or mails coming to your house and you're like, I'm not worried about that mail. Like, it's gone. You know what I mean? I got my chains, I got my clothes, I got my shoes. Everybody, the whole team is good. You know what I mean? So yeah, bro, that was my, you said what, welcome to credit moment. Right. It started off real strong from grandma and it ended off really poor from pops. But that's what led me down the journey of the rabbit hole of becoming the man that I am today, becoming the credit consultant that I am, and realizing how important credit is and using it as a tool out here to actually leverage and to make things happen and make them shake it. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was a really long answer. My bad, bro. But yeah, that was it. That was my welcome to credit moment.
That's good because like credit can be like very mysterious. It can be very mysterious. And I can't speak for everybody because everybody comes from different backgrounds.
For sure.
But like I can speak for myself. Like I was always taught for a long time to just not get any credit cards.
Yeah.
Just don't get credit.
Yeah.
Just use your debit card.
Yeah.
And maybe that wasn't the worst,
No.
Information and advice to give, but also wasn't the best either.
No.
Right? It's still maybe a little uneducated.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And I think that's the point of all of this is that a lot of people are just uneducated on the impact and how powerful your credit can be.
Absolutely.
And I'm one of those people. I was one of those people.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
So that's cool. Let's get into this next part. You know, you talked about what you've been able to do with some of the people that are being intaked into your business right now.
Right.
What kind of success stories can you share maybe that you've gotten for some of the clients already?
Absolutely. The success stories are everything. You know what I mean? Now in the new age that we're in, being able to share what you're actually able to do for your service, for your clients, your clients really are your testimonials for your future clients. You get what I'm saying? So again, going back to what we do every single morning is we're in our team huddle. It's we're the solution, we're the solution, we're the solution. And everybody's different, bro. And that's the thing that I learned over these last 5 years is you think because the way that your brain is wired that it's people want this type of money because they want to do this, because they want to be a real estate investor, they want to buy a restaurant, they want to go overseas. That's not the case. I have so many clients, dude, that just want to have some money in their bank because they want to take a day off without having their paycheck be short. You get what I mean? Or they want to be able to take their wife on the honeymoon that they never had the opportunity to do so. Or they want to just buy a better ride for their new kid who just graduated or something like that. So that's the very most important thing at the very beginning is we have those consultation calls. We find out what are you looking for from us? You know what I mean? Is it, I want this money to do this. I want this to do this. I want this to do this. Okay, great. Because nobody's the same. Just like no credit profile is the same. People, what they want and need in life are not the same. So the success stories are all vastly different because everyone looks at success completely different. You get what I mean? But as in helping clients getting funded, right now the company, we're just surpassed our highest month ever in funding, which so far for the month, I mean, we're on day 7, I believe. We're already at 225,000 for the month and we're at day 7. So I already know projection wise, this will be our highest month, right? But overall from the last 5 years, man, we funded over $7.5 million. You know what I mean? And that's acquisitions of capital to put in real estate, to buy more real estate, or that's just the little bit of funding that they need, or equipment financing. So we do it all. You know what I mean? We do the traditional type of lending, and we also go the alternative route. So we just kind of find out what our clients want, and then again, we try to be the solution for them. So the successes, man, those are the best conversations to have. You know what I mean? Because you change someone's life, and it's simple. It's someone who's just coming for credit repair, looking at their credit profile, I'm like, I've never seen a score like that in my life. I have the highest score in my entire family. Now I can go purchase a home for my family. Those phone calls are the greatest, bro. Like, there's no phone call like that other than maybe like your wife is on the way to the hospital. You know what I mean? Like with your first child. Like those phone calls are the greatest. And then there's those other ones who you get those ideal clients, obviously, who have a great credit profile. Their business is already generating revenue and they just need some more capital. I mean, those are great too, because we're going to go leverage that and get some big bucks. So those are great phone calls too. But the success stories, man, my favorite, the nearest and dearest to my heart, or is when we help someone who's been struggling, running their head against the wall for a while, and then we provide the solution and they basically just, you know, want to cry on the phone. Yeah. Those are the greatest success stories, no doubt.
So what's the largest amount of funding that you've ever gotten for somebody?
No, great question. Largest amount of funding traditional wise. Let's start there because alternative lending is a little different ball game, and alternative lending is so yeah, I'll just break that down just in case people that are watching have no idea what that is. So traditional lending would be you structuring your credit profile correctly, 720 and up looking like, and going to the bank and asking for traditional lending, which would be your business lines of credit, your lines of credit, your business credit cards, your personal credit cards, right? Going the other way, alternative lending, which is sometimes we got to get tricky with it. You know what I mean? We got to play because this person isn't positioned in the correct way, right? So that's going to go get more personal loans, alternative loans, auto loans, things to beef up their personal credit profile. But to answer your question, man, the highest with one client, I think altogether was like 1.8 million. That was with business lines of credit from different institutions. But I mean, he was right. His business was making money. You know what I mean? He already had relationships with institutions. And then I had the plugs inside the institutions to be able to get him those higher limits. So yeah, that 1.8, he actually put down like 30% into an apartment complex. And now his portfolios are like 11 or $12 million. So, I mean, it all just depends, again, like I was saying, like, what is success to you? You know what I mean? Everyone uses this differently. But yeah, that was the highest dollar amount.
Okay, cool.
For sure.
So that's perfect. That leads me into my next question. So let's give them some real game.
Okay.
right? So what are some of your favorite institutions, banks, credit unions right now here in 2025 that you like right now?
Great question. I would say for myself, right? So let me just give it to the vast audience, people that are watching, listening. The best institutions, credit unions, or banks are going to be the ones you already have relationships with, right? So you've already opened up your personal checking account, savings account, you have deposits going in, or you already have your business bank account and they already see revenue coming in. The way that that works is it's a banking relationship. So the more data you can feed them, which is you, right? More deposits coming in, they're going to sweeten the pot when you hold an opportunity to go get and leverage money. Do you get what I mean? So when you're asking for money, if they already have your income, if they already have deposits, if you've already got 10, 20, 30 sitting in the bank, you've already banked with them for 4 or 5 years, they're going to trust you when you ask for a $75,000 credit card. They're going to be like, oh yeah, Mr. Dominique, we've been on you. Easy money. If that's not the case though, we're just saying for my preference, I would say my favorite are because I have banking relationship managers, so I'm able to get higher limit funding. Chase right now off the top is going to be number one for me. I would say number two for me is going to be Navy Federal Credit Union because Navy Fed is really, really nice. They're really lenient. Truist, I would have to throw PNC in there because I have a banking relationship manager right now that's, I mean, if he's not doing $100,000 credit limits like every other day, he's not doing nothing. And then a slept on one. I'll give a slept on one. Fulton and Ameris. Fulton and Ameris Bank, I would say, are slept on ones. Absolutely. For 2025.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is good.
I hope so.
This has been real good. So let's get a little bit more into it.
Okay.
Let's give them something, you know, that right, they might feel like they got so much value that like they might be upset like they paid somebody to do this. Can we do?
Oof, you're really trying to get spicy today. Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna make some people upset today. Okay, I got you. Yeah. I'm down.
Let's do that.
Yeah, we could do it.
So like I'm sure you get this question all the time, right? So I'm gonna ask you again right now.
Okay.
So what kind of like steps do people need to take to structure a business, structure their personal stuff to get to that magic number of like $100,000 in funding?
Good question. So it's two portions, right? You asked it broken down into two different questions, and I'm glad that you did because it literally is that. So the very first thing that you have to do is structure out your life correctly. And what I mean by that, again, we've been talking about is your credit profile. The ideal candidate to go into funding or to go and ask for money, would be a 700 credit score. You can get away with 680, you know what I mean? 680 credit score, no negatives, no derogatories, no charge-offs at all on your credit profile. You want to have that sweet spot of having credit, I would say in like that 3 to 5 years, because banks want to see that other banks have trusted you with money and you did good habits when you had money. So that 3 to 5 years is pretty much the sweet spot. This is kind of controversial. I know on the internet, everyone says 30% utilization. 30% utilization is not going to get you money. 10% and under, but 2 to 9 is the real sweet spot for credit utilization. And the reason I say 2 to 9 is because I know I hear a lot of people, actually talk to a lot of people that are like, I get my card, I get my bill, and I pay it off right away. That's not what the banks want to see, because they want to see that you use the money, because there's really no purpose for them lending you money, because you got to think they make money off the interest, right? So if you're always getting your $100 credit card bill and you're paying it off right away, they don't make nothing off of you. So they don't really want to do business or continue and give you more because they're not going to make nothing off you. So 2 to 9% utilization is that sweet spot. And then as in accounts on your profile, you at least want to have 2 revolving credit cards. I say accumulatively 5,000, you know what I mean? But if we can get over that, obviously it's great. There is a thing in the credit space where it's called comparable credit, and not a lot of people actually talk about this. So when you're going to, like, let's say purchase a vehicle and you want like a luxury vehicle, let's say it's 100,000, 200,000. What the banks, before they actually approve you, is have you had another vehicle that was half the price? So if you're trying to go buy a $100,000 new BMW, you needed to once have a 50,000 Toyota Corolla, Camry, whatever, right? That's the car space, but it's the exact same thing for credit cards. So if you're trying to get $10,000 credit limit, you need to have a 5,000. When you're trying to go on the business side and you're trying to get 50,000, you need to show them that you've had 25 on the personal side, so that they're like, I feel comfortable lending out this type of money, because they know what to do with it. So that's the first part, right? You asked how would they do it. That's perfectly structured candidate to go and get funding. Second way I would say is you got to make sure your business is set up, right? You have to look legitimate to these banks. And what I mean by that is make sure that your LLC, your S Corp, your C Corp is filed, obviously, with the Secretary of State, right? You got to have your articles of organization. So have your business information and documents in order. You got to have a business phone number. Please don't use your personal phone number. The banks don't want to see that. You got to have a business address. You can just get a virtual address, right? Don't put your personal address on any of your applications, because you're not a business, right? You don't do business out of your home legally. So the banks aren't going to trust that. You need to have a business website. You need to have a professional business email. Please don't let me see anything at sexylipsgmail.com. Like, it just, it just doesn't work, bro. You gotta look professional. If you're trying to sit down with this banker and you say, I need 150,000, and that's the email address he sees, he's gonna be like, no. So that would be the second step, is make sure your business is structured correctly, your credit profile is structured correctly, and now it's off to the races, man. You can ask for anything that you want.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Thanks for asking that question, because I think that the internet needs it.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So now that they know how to structure their personal and their business, right?
Yeah.
Like, do you have any strategies, tips, or tricks on how to possibly maximize that funding that they're trying to go get?
That's a great question. Yes. With this time that obviously I've put into the space, I've actually changed my own tips and tricks, because you got to evolve, you have to grow just as often, as much as these regulations inside the institutions are changing too, right? You got to think all this new information on YouTube, all this new information on TikTok and Instagram, these bankers are watching it too. You know what I mean? So the rules are changing, right? So the way that I actually used to go for a funding client to go and get them funding was I actually used to do it vertically. And what that is when I was try to get them funding, I would hit 3 of the same banks that pull from the exact same credit profile. So let's say we're trying to get funding. We're going to hit all 3 that only pull from Experian, right? 1, 2, and 3. Then I'm going to go apply for funding from institutions that pull from Equifax, all 3, 1, 2, and 3, all Equifax. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to pull from another institution that pulls all from TransUnion, 1, 2, and 3, boom, right? Because the way that it looks is on the back end, they don't look and they don't communicate with each other. So they can't see what you were doing, right? So they don't see that you racked up all these inquiries. And then after that, strategically, I was wiping away the inquiries, because they're all business, right? Business inquiries shouldn't be reporting to your personal. So that used to be the game plan. Do you know what I mean? But what I've found now, since we've been doing this for such a long way, we no longer do it vertically. We now do across the board horizontally. So what we do now is one client will get them an institution pulling from Experian, one institution pulling from Equifax, one institution pulling from TransUnion, and then we wipe it. Because what we were finding is once we do that, the next time we go to the same or different institutions but pulling from the same bureau, we're getting higher funding limits, because those other banks were looking and they saw the other prior inquiries. Do you get what I mean? So I would say strategically now, that's the way that we fund clients. If you're trying to do this on your own, I think that you should use that route as well. I've seen crazy stuff where people say you stay up late till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning when no one is at the bank and the servers are down. If you send in applications, you get instant approvals. Please don't do that. That does not exist. That's not a real thing. Like, please don't waste your day and your night waiting till 3 or 4 in the morning to send in an application, bro, and think that you're just going to get approved. It's going to be held there until someone comes tomorrow, and it goes through the same underwriting process. So Please, let's debunk that misinformation. That is not a tip. That's not a trick. That is not a strategy. It still goes through underwriting, right? So, yeah, get your full night's rest and then try again tomorrow.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I would say those will be tips and tricks that we're using now. Used to fund vertically, now we fund horizontally.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's good advice.
That was a good question.
So let's get into this is kind of a controversial thing that I've heard about.
Another one.
Sure. So what is the difference between non-PG and PG funding?
This is
right.
controversial.
Like, is that real? Is it not real? Should people do that? What is that even about? I don't even know what that's about.
No, that's a really good question. For real, I appreciate, like, you came with heavy topics and questions today. I appreciate you because I feel like the world literally needs this type of information. My bad. So PG funding, because you said you don't know what that is, right? PG funding is personal guaranteed, right? So what that means is your business, yes, you're getting a business credit card or a business line of credit, but your institution is tying Dominique, the individual, to this. So if you default on this, they're coming after you, right? So that's personally guaranteeing. You are saying, I personally guarantee my business is able to pay off this debt, right? That's what personal guarantee is. Non-personal guarantee, obviously, is having the luxury where you don't have to tie yourself up to it, and it's solely sitting and relying only on your business. I would just say to get to that level of non-PG, your business revenue, we're talking about, needs to be consistent. I would say over 250,000 consistently. Your business needs to be aged 2+ years. You need to come with a P&L statement. You need 2 years of tax returns. I mean, there's stuff, you know what I mean, that you need to provide to get to that state. So most people aren't there. Most people aren't ready. Most people are new businesses, startups, you know what I mean? Or they've been doing it for a while, but they don't have tax returns. They don't have P&L statements, or they don't generate enough revenue, right? So you're mostly going to have to go that PG route. So yeah, that's what non-PG is. That's what PG is. Is it a real thing? Absolutely. Be prepared. If you're not in what I described earlier, in a non-PG status and a play where you think you can leverage like that your business revenue, be prepared. You're always going to PG. So it's going to be tied to you. Absolutely. But it's never a bad thing because you're leveraging your credit, right? That's what they're looking at. And as long as your credit is on point and as long as your business is structured correctly, you're going to go get the bag. So don't even worry. Just make sure you pay your bills. That's what I'd say. Yeah. Make sure you're responsible. Yeah.
Okay. So do you think that everybody should get some type of funding?
Oh, that's a really good question. Okay. Short answer is no. To be 100% honest with you, and I think this might be more controversial than your last one. I don't think people want to hear me say that. And the reason that I say that again, because I want to kind of touch back on that very first thing that you asked me, is just like, if you're not responsible, if you don't know what you're going to do, or you don't have a play already set up, people aren't ready to get 100, 150, 200, 250, 300 when you're used to having a $500 Walmart card. Like, so no, I don't think everyone should get business funding. I think if you are an entrepreneur, I think if you're a good saver, I think if you know what to do with the money and how to leverage it to make more money, because at the end of the day, you have to use it as a tool, right? You don't just get business funding just to be like, oh, I'm just sitting on money. One, it's cool because an opportunity might present itself in the future, right? You need to have money. You need to have capital, but you need to put that capital out into the world to go and get money, because at some point you have to pay it back, right? So if you don't have a plan in place where you're going to do something with the money and leverage it, I don't think that you should go and get funding. I don't think you should run it up to these institutions, have 250 and then tell people about it. Like, I have this money, you know what I mean? That's just weird. Like, no, I don't think it's smart for everyone. So if you're responsible, if you have a plan in action and you have a vision and a clear understanding of the entrepreneur world, absolutely, you have to have money. If you don't touch it.
Right.
Just don't touch it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
No,
That's good advice. So let's take it back a little bit.
Okay.
What kind of advice would you give to some small business owners, entrepreneurs, on how they could possibly be successful?
How they could be successful. Okay. First, I would say, obviously, jumping back, your personal credit be in order. That would be the very first thing to make you successful, not even in the business space, not even the entrepreneurial space, just in life in general. You know what I mean? People don't really realize, I don't think, how much your credit actually affects you. If you have poor credit, there's times when you go to apply for renting a house or an apartment and they ask for like 2 times the deposit. There's a reason for that. It's because they pulled your credit and they've shown that you have a low credit score. Your credit profile is not up to par. So for you to get approved to stay here, you have to pay more. That's terrible way to do business and go around in life. I mean, if you've had poor credit and you tried to call like the water company or the gas company or the electric company and they're like, oh yeah, we ran your credit and you have to put a deposit down, right? That's weird. Like, you shouldn't have to do those things. And I don't think people really realize how much your credit affects your everyday life, like those simple things, right? Um, so to be successful, I would say, just in general, is have good credit, fix credit, understand credit. But to the entrepreneurial out there and to business owners to be successful, I would say the thing that really allowed me to truly become successful, like, I was good, you know what I mean? But I didn't become successful, at least in my eyes, until I had the right team around me. I honestly had to take myself out of the business. And I've been doing this for so long that it was mine. So I was the one doing my consults, talking to my customers. I was the one sending out the dispute letters. I was the one talking to the credit bureaus, trying to get it. Plus, I was the one sending the invoices. I did everything. I wore every single hat, right? But I couldn't get to the next level to be successful until I trained someone else how to do it. And then train someone else how to do it, because the more people that you have, the more business you can take on, right? Obviously, there's turnover, so be prepared for that. The first people you hire aren't going to be the greatest because you weren't the greatest leader yet. You weren't there yet because it's new for you. You get what I mean? It was new for me. Yeah. I thought it was all me, and I thought I could teach everyone the way that I learned, but my brain is differently, and not everybody can take the same bandwidth that I can, because I could wear 9 hats and still be focused and still go hoop. They couldn't do that.
Right.
So to find someone who could only wear 2 hats, I was just like, you're not worth it. You know what I mean? That was for me to learn. So that was on me. Get the team around you, learn people's strengths, honestly ask them. And then a huge trick for me was, I told them what the business was. I told them what we look to do, what I want to do. And then I asked them straight up, what are you going to do to get me there? And that threw everybody off, because I don't think anyone's ever been asked that. But to me, it made the most sense. Like, if I'm going to tell you what I need from you, I'm already giving you the answers to the test. So I never really get to truly judge, are you a good employee? Do you really work for my company? Because you're just doing exactly what I tell you to do. You feel me? Like, you're not adding anything to my team. So when they told me, I was like, oh, that's a great idea. I didn't even think about that. Like, I want you on the team. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, so I would say that. And in systems multiply your business. So front end, you want to be incredibly organized. Get your documents signed, get your agreements signed, get anything that you need to legal out the way. Front end, right? Make sure you get your deposit paid, get your invoices, you know what I mean? Make sure that stuff is streamlined. And then the systems also that have really ramped up, obviously now with new technology and AI, is just the automated text messages, the automated emails. I mean, they're working even when you didn't know there's a potential client. So when someone just comes on your website and they click one thing, boom, that information is tracked, right? That's a potential client. Maybe not in that moment, but if they get a text message in 2 days, then it's like, whoa, they really care about me. You know what I mean? Whoa, I've put that in the back of my mind, but now that I got the reminder, I'm down. Do you get what I'm saying? So systems, get them in place, get it structured out, build your team. It's going to cost money to get a good team. So just be prepared to invest, you know what I mean? And then always be willing to grow, because everything is changing. You know what I mean? Don't think that you know everything. And if you do, You got to get in some different rooms. You got to get a mentor. You got to go over here because there's no possible way that you know everything. I don't. I'm consistently learning. I have 2 mentors, and I'm always willing to take new information in. You know what I mean? So that would be my advice. New entrepreneurs, new business people, but then lesser scale, just get your credit profile in order.
Yeah. That's big, right? Like you don't know what you don't know
At all.
for one, right? Like you should always be growing. I like the saying, if you're not growing, you're dying.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you're not like actually sitting still, you're going backwards actually.
Yeah.
And I believe all the best things happen on teams.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
2 heads is better than 1 is very real.
Yeah.
2 people, just 2 people on a team
Yeah.
could be very powerful and very lethal.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's really good advice. I hope everybody's taking notes.
Yeah.
Okay. Last thing, let's wrap this up.
Let's do it.
So I've always heard that all millionaires or a lot of millionaires, they have 7 streams of income. Right. So
Yeah.
do you believe in this? Like, is this real? Like, what is your take on that?
That's a really good one too. Yes, I do believe in the 7 streams of income, but on a much smaller scale. I believe it's kind of been fluctuated and fluffed up. You don't need to write a book and start a clothing company and have vending machines and rent out apartments and do Turo and do Airbnb arbitrage. Like that just doesn't work. Are those 7 different things? Absolutely. But you're spreading yourself so thin and you're not a master of any of them because you're doing 7 completely different things, right? So how I just look at this, like my one business model, it started off as credit restoration and then I was able to lead into funding. So now that's 2 different things, but it's the exact same tree trunk, right? Now off of that, I just branch out doing the exact same things, right? So if someone wants to bring me in for a podcast, that's a speaking engagement and opportunity. If someone wants to bring me into a webinar, that's a speaking opportunity, but I'm still speaking on what I know, my mastery, right? If I would like to write a book about that, I can write a book about that. Do you know what I mean? Because I mastered this one thing. If someone wants to try and maybe have me for a one-on-one consultation, or if someone wants me to be their mentor, all of those different things are different streams of income, all coming off the same base, right? My foundation is the exact same. It's credit restoration and it's business funding or alternative funding, right? So those things right there led me into 7 or 8 different streams of income, but all being the exact same thing. You get what I mean? So I definitely do believe in monetizing every single thing that you can do. Just like this, you know what I mean? YouTube is its own thing. Instagram is its own thing. So there's 2 streams right there. Just stay the course. Don't ever spread yourself too thin because you're not a master. And then once you get debunked and once you get challenged and you can't speak up for yourself, you've lost everything. Like once your credibility is gone, it's so hard to generate clients, which is obviously revenue, right? So yes, 7 streams of income, absolutely, because there's so many opportunities nowadays, but keep the main thing, and you'll be good.
That's all we have today on this episode of Double Down.
Okay.
Thanks for joining me.
It was a pleasure.
Jay, I really appreciate it. We could talk about this forever.
I literally got more.
Yeah, I'm sure you got more. Yeah. This can go forever.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? But before we get out of here,
yeah.
Tell everybody where they can find you and how they could get a hold of you.
No, I appreciate that. You can find me on all social media platforms, DVN consultations. Reach out to the team, set up a 15-minute consultation. Anybody on the team will be able to kind of figure out, what you're looking to accomplish with us. We will be your solution. And yeah, reach out to the team, email us, see how that we can help you out, and we'll be glad to be your solution with any problem that you may have.